Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. It seems as the moon falls, man, it seems like I just get so many clear visions into things. But I want to share this with you, right? Culling, C-U-L-L-I-N-G, culling. Now, culling with wild animals is when they, I guess, to control the population, or if there's some type of infectious disease, they will put a certain population of a certain animal down, or if an animal is harmful to that part of the wildlife, I guess. But what I thought was interesting, culling also happens with fruit and vegetables, right? And with culling and fruit and vegetables, the fruits or the vegetables are separated into marketable or non-marketable lots, right? So what is worth being eaten and produced, and what is the best, and what should be just put in a food processor or put into lower, not lower level foods, but I would say like cheaper foods, right? And so I thought about the tree. Right? Now, a tree is just a tree, not saying taking anything away from our great ancestors, because our trees are ancestors. Trees are the ancestors. The only things that we put people in the ground and what comes up from the ground. Grass, trees, those are our ancestors. Nature is the ancestors. So I digress. I apologize. So the tree being the tree is going to do whatever a tree is supposed to do. It's going to bear fruit, right? So that's an action. A tree is bearing fruit. So that's an action, right? So in bearing the fruit. But just because it bore the fruit doesn't mean that it's still acceptable. And I put the two things together as far as I always think of myself, and humans as far as in relation to these small symbols and signs that fly by. And I thought, wow, okay, so being a human, you're going to do whatever you do, human nature, and you could still be the best of conduct, the best of anyone. You could be the worst of conduct, the worst of anyone, right? But you're just being a human, just like being a tree is being a tree. But the action, your actions and what the fruit that you bear, the things you say out of your mouth, the actions that you commit yourself to, the projects that you endeavor into, and the things that you chase and you hold dear to are still subject to be divided into two divisions. What's usable and what isn't. And I thought about that and I was like, wow, how far is nature perfect? And how is nature perfect, and how far ahead of us it is in evolution as far as the translation between action, emotion, and the outcome. Because a tree is not going to be affected if what are you going to scream at the tree? You got 10 rotten apples and you got 5 good ones. You're terrible. You're a shitty tree. Nobody likes you. You think the tree's going to care? No, because a tree's going to continue doing what it's supposed to do. And over time, through its conditions, it's going to adjust. And now it's going to have 10 good fruits, 20 good fruits. Why? Because it just remained who it was throughout all conditions, throughout all judgments of its actions, which is its fruit being bore. And it accepted the fact that I'm going to give this fruit. It's up to you whether you want to eat it or discard it. Just a thought.